Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Again with you, Omar from Brownsburg Motorsports. Today we have a 2018 BMW 330i, and it is equipped with the B48/B46 engine. And we're going to be showing you the step-by-step on how to remove and replace the coolant, the turbocharger coolant return line. And it is a very common issue. So the most common leaks with these engines or these drivetrains, the B48/the B46. First, you have the oil filter housing, major coolant leak from there, and that's because they switched from a aluminum filter housing on the previous engines and 20s and 56 and 52 and 55. They switched from aluminum housing to plastic housing. That's the first most common one. Second one, you have the new mechanical water pump that used to be electric on most of the previous generations, equipped with a 4 and 6 cylinder. And then last but not least, we have the, actually one more, heat management module, which is the thermostat assembly. That's also a plastic housing, another common leak. And then finally, which is the repair we're going to be doing today, are the turbocharger coolant return lines. And the most common that I've seen is where it comes out of the auxiliary water pump right here on top where I'm pointing, and it goes to the turbocharger. It starts leaking from right here by the auxiliary water pump bore. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight to it. All right, so before I get started, I just want to let you know that this process is going to apply to any BMW 330i, 320i, what is it called? The 430i, 530i, and X3 that are equipped with these B48/B46 engines. Procedure will be different for the X1, X2, and the Mini Cooper, and the lastly the 2 Series, the one with the transverse engine. But with a straightforward engine like this, where you have the engine in the front, transmission under the center console, this process should be the same. So let's go ahead and start by removing this cover. It's held on by a tab here, a tab over here, so that you just pull on it. All right, and then this comes out just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the side. Now you should be able to see what it's leaking from, and that's where it starts leaking right there. You can see the coolant flowing off from here. And it's actually this pore where it actually starts leaking from. It's not even on the turbo side yet. I haven't really seen it leak on the turbo side. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and grab a pick, because we are gonna need to release the connector on the mass airflow right here. Just gonna push that tab. Let me bring the camera closer for you guys to be able to see it. All right, so there's that locking tab. I'm gonna use a pick, pull it out. There we go. Then I'm gonna sneak this in there to lift up the tab. You can either do that, or you can just push the tab itself to release the connector. Now we're gonna go ahead and really remove this air box. You can use a flathead, or you can even use your hands, honestly, if you could. Just gonna release this tab here, you got a tab right there, and this should be released from here. Okay, perfect. Now we have a what is it called? We have a hose clamp right here, and this from here, I believe you just turn it. Yep, there we go. When you turn that, there we go. I don't think, yeah, we do have another tab right here in the bottom. Just gonna release that, and you should be able to lift up this box right now. So you had one tab here, where I'm pointing, 2, 3, and 4. And as far as this, that's the lock position. If you push it towards the engine, it will release it, and you will be able to take out the airbox top cover. I'm gonna put that on the side. All right, so now let me go ahead and finish removing this. Gotta remove the filter as well. Let's see if I can. I should be able to lift up on this. We do have an air inlet right here, so it is going to be a little bit challenging to remove it. So you have a bushing right there, and you have a bushing right here, and I'm gonna try and see if I can actually release it from these bushings, just like that. And then I should be able to just pull it towards the back. Oh, here we go. We have a we gotta lift it up as well to release it. All right, perfect. So you lift up from the front and the back. You have a tab here. You have a tab right there. You have a tab right there. Oh, that was a lot of dust. You have a tab right there, and you have a tab right there. So a total of 3. 1, 2, and 3. And like I said, 1, 2, 3 right there. And then the front of this box, the front of it right there, it slides onto the air inlet. That's right here. And that was a lot of dust in there. There was even a rock. All right, moving on. So now I'm gonna go ahead and release the clamps that are on the side. I'm gonna bring the camera on this side to show you. All right, perfect. Let me put the air filter on the side as well. You have a clamp over here. You have a clamp over here, but I think the let me see, it goes on top of this. We might be able to get away. No, I think it would be better if we just remove this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this entire air inlet, the turbo. There should be a clamp on this thing. So let me grab a pick. I'm gonna grab a pick and I'm gonna release the tab that's holding this hose on this side, and then I'll show you exactly how you can see and release this tab. My head might be in the way, so I do apologize in advance. There we go, perfect. And now I should be able to did it lock back in? I might need a long flathead or long screwdriver to be able to keep that tab released. There we go. So this is the tab that I was talking about. It holds the let me see if I can actually zoom in and show you. It holds the air hose right about there, right on top of my finger. That's where this locking tab would go. So I'm gonna put the camera back here for you guys, for you to be able to see it. All right, perfect. I went ahead and removed that completely. I'll put it back on the hose later before I install it. Then we have this connector over here. So this not evap, this port right here. Let me see if I can release the tabs are on the side. There we go. I just pushed the tabs. I don't know if you guys can actually see that or not. Yes, perfect. So you guys see that tab right there? There's one there and there's one on the other side. I'm going to release them by just pushing them in with my screwdriver and either pulling or pushing on the hose here. I might have to push on my hose. Let me try a shorter flathead. Now I'm going to try and see if I can get it right there. Perfect. We should be able now to release it. So I'm just pulling on it slowly. And those are the two tabs I'm talking about. You have one tab there. Let me hide this connector. You have one tab there and one tab there. And then we have lastly one more hose that's on this side. Let me move this to the side here so you guys could see it. And let me also remove this connector on the wastegate actuator. I'm going to use a flathead to release that locking tab. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to bring in a flathead from the bottom, pull the tab up or push the tab up on the inside, and then the connector would come out. All right, let me throw these on the side here, out of your way. Now you guys could see the hose that we have, and I'm talking specifically about that one right there. It's got there we go, perfect. So that came out from there, but I'm trying to disconnect it from here. Let's see if we can. And once I get this hose out, I'll show you exactly what I just did, just for you to know. I might need to use a pick just to release those tabs. There we go. Perfect. All right. So first of all, I got this hose. I got it out. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the side, and I'll show you exactly what I was talking about as far as the two hoses that connects to that air inlet tube. This hose right here has got a tab with those. You see those lines over there? Let me zoom in for you guys a little bit to see it. Okay, so we got the two hoses right there in the frame. This you just have to push on this side or the other side to release it from the air inlet. If you couldn't, I got my pick here, and from the back I just pulled up like this. When I pulled up like this, I release it from here. Then you have the other tab on the side. You can bring it from here and release it. And then the first one that I removed was this one right here. It's got two tabs. That's one, the one I'm moving right now. That's the second one on the back. So I just released them with a flathead or like screwdriver or anything. I pushed them in, and then I started pulling up on this, and that's how it came out. All right, so now we have direct access to both, well, to this hose right here, and it goes in under the wastegate, and it turns, and it goes in right there on the turbo. Let me zoom out for you guys to see. Yep, so that's where the hose is going. You can follow it from there all the way up. It goes in under the wastegate actuator and into the turbo. So it is going to be a good idea to have a pan underneath the car before you disconnect these hoses. So I'm going to get that set up, and then we'll hop out to the next step. All right, so now that I have my pan set up underneath, I'm going to go ahead and bring my T30, either on a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 T30. I'm going to start by removing the bolt that holds the this line to the turbo on the front side of it. So I just release that with the ratchet. That's what the bolt looks like. Now I'm not going to be able to show you the bolt for the actual line where it bolts onto the turbo because it's like buried under there, but it looks exactly like this. I don't think I can get it on camera, but you'll be able to see it if you stick your head in there. You'll be able to see it, but it looks, like I said, looks exactly like that bolt right there, same length and everything, literally the same exact bolt. Anyway, I'm gonna put this bolt here to the side, and now what we're gonna do is our next step is we're gonna disconnect the hose from the auxiliary water pump. And the auxiliary water pump, by the way, you guys, it's this piece right here. I don't know if you guys could see that, but where this hose goes, I'm gonna go ahead and bring the camera for you guys on this side for you to be able to see it. That's your auxiliary water pump right there, or at least one of them. And I'm gonna use my pick. You can use a pick or a flathead to be able to get that tab that's on there. And I want you guys to see this. I'm gonna lift it up. There we go. Let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, you guys see this tab right here? That's the one I just pulled up or like pushed on it to this side. Now this hose should be released, and I should be able to just like pull on it. If it does fight you a little bit, I would recommend some WD-40 or PB Blaster to penetrate through that condensation or that coolant that has dried up on there. So it's always a good, there we go, just like that. So that's the tab that I was telling you about. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. Obviously we're not gonna reuse this hose, but whenever you go to install the new one, make sure that tab is pushed in, and then you align it, because it does have a tab, like a notch on the top and notch on the bottom. You guys could see this, right? Let me turn the camera a little bit for you to see. All right, so this hose does have a notch on the top and notch on the bottom that you have to align it with the auxiliary water pump. It only goes in one way. It does not go in like this. It does not go in like this. It only goes in sideways like that. So this is now released. It's also released from this side here. Let me get the camera back in position, and I'll show you what we're gonna do next. All right, so I hope I'm not in the way, but this is the hose, the one that's coming from the top. This is the hose that we are replacing. So there is a bolt that holds the return and the feeding line. It holds them both. It's the bolt is right there where my finger is, right on the side, on the like towards the front. But you can see the second hose right there in the bottom, coming from the bottom. It comes from behind it comes from the back of the engine, from the side, behind the catalytic converter, and it goes right there on top of the one we are returning, or the one we are replacing. So in order for you to get this one out, you have to release or disconnect or remove the hose from the remove the feeding hose from the turbo. And like I said, both of them are held down with the same torque bit or T30 bolts. So for that, I'm also gonna use my ratchet again. So I want you guys to see, I want to make sure you guys could actually see this. Let me first get my ratchet on there and then move my head out of the picture. So that's where I put my ratchet. And as you see, like it's not really uh, very tight. Almost hand tight, but it's not. So let me just get this back on the bolt. There we go. Hope you guys could see that. As you see, like I just released it. Now I'm removing this with my hand. Oh, it fell on the pen. But like I said, the bolt looks exactly like this one right here. That's what it looks like. That's how big it is. Same thread and everything. Like I said, it's literally the same exact bolt. Okay, so like I said, we cannot really remove the upper one or remove it from the turbo until we remove the bottom one. Now the bottom one, considering the heat and everything, it's going to be a little bit hard to remove from the top. So what you use is you use a pry bar and you get to it from the bottom from a certain spot. Believe me, you can easily bend that and ruin it, and then you're going to have to replace the second hose as well, the one that comes right there. That's, you guys see that bottom hose right here? I don't know if you guys could see that or not. Let me put my finger on it. That's the bottom hose. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and raise up the car right now, and I'll show you the spot where you can use a pry bar to pry that bottom one off, so we can actually replace the return coolant line. All right, you guys. So I went ahead and removed all the covers already in the bottom. You definitely want to remove all the covers, including I think there is a metal cover that goes across as well. You want to go ahead and remove that as well. And I'm gonna show you first before I put the pry bar in. I'm gonna show you that second hose. So I already sprayed it with some PB blaster. I think it just dripped. Yep. So that bottom one that you're seeing right there, let me see. This bottom one here, that's the feeding line. That one, like I said, comes from behind the, zoom out a little bit. That one right there comes from behind the catalytic converter, and then it goes in and plugs into the side of the engine right there. Now that's the one we want to disconnect or remove from there, and we remove it so we can actually remove the upper one that you see on top. So you see that one? That's the one we're replacing. This is the one we have to remove. So as far as the pry bar, first of all, you do not want to pry off the oil return line, which is that one right there I'm touching. So you want to get a, what is it called? You want to get it between, the turbo and the hose, and you're going to slowly pry off like that. Just like what I'm doing right now. You can even, if you have a different shaped one, which I do, I'm going to use this other one here. All right. If you have a different shaped pry bar, you can go and do it like this. Just like that, and just pry off. So I'm going to get the camera here on the side. I'm not going to be able to hold the camera and pry it at the same time, but you only do this if your hose is seized and you couldn't get it from the top. 1 out of 10 times it will come off right away. The other times you're going to have to pry it off. And like I said, the reason why we're doing this is because that bottom one sits on top of the one that we're actually replacing. All right, so just to show you the progress, first of all, I had my pry bar sitting right there. I don't know if you guys could see that or no, but actually I had it sitting from this side right here, and then I kind of twisted it to get it out a little bit. Then I grabbed my long flathead, and what I did, put my flathead right there. Let me see if I get it. You see that? I put it in the gap between the turbo, and I just tapped it with a rubber mallet. That one right there. Tapped with the other mallet on this side, and then a little bit on the other side, until it's almost, let me see if I can actually show you guys, but I tapped it on the other side just to expand basically the gap between the hose and the turbo. And now it looks like it's almost coming out. So let me get the foam back in position for you guys. I hope you guys could actually see, but this is probably going to start, what's the word? Probably going to start dripping here in the next few minutes. All right, so that's the hose that I'm removing. I should be able to just okay, perfect. You want to make sure that the tab that's on it does not hit the turbo. So I'm gonna come from this side now. Let's see if it'll actually come off finally. And just like that. There we go. That's the bottom hose. Now we're gonna move on to the next step. All right, so now you can see the hose that I just disconnected from the bottom. Is this one right here, and make sure it did not get bent. It doesn't look like it got bent. If it does get bent though, you're gonna have to replace it 100%. You're gonna have to replace it. Anyway, with that hose removed now, we should be able to start basically wobbling on this. Wow, it is in there. There we go. I'm gonna start by up and down to free it. I've already sprayed a PB blaster on this. Okay. Whew. I had to put a lot of force behind that to be able to. I don't know if you guys could see that or not. I'm gonna see if I can bring in the camera on the side for you. Gonna zoom out a little bit. All right, so now that we have removed the bottom hose, that one right there, the one I'm moving, I'm gonna go ahead and start moving the one we're actually replacing up and down, just to get it to move freely a little bit. All right, so here we are. Let me see if I can shed some more lights for you guys. I went ahead and sprayed some more of that PB blaster on the upper hose here. I'm gonna try and start basically releasing it. I'm just gonna move it in different directions because right now that's all I got. I mean, I don't want to remove the wastegate actuator to gain better access, so I'm just gonna try. There we go. Let me see if I can come from this side and pull on it. Just and it's coming out slowly but steadily. Whew. That is wow. That's in there, like it's in there. It's in there good. And that's why I let it soak a little bit in the PB blaster. Okay. I might be able to get my flathead now that there is a gap between the turbo and where the line goes. I might be able to get my flathead in there and pry it out. Nope, not yet. All right, let me keep doing this then. Wow. It is in there good. And I mean, it's in there real good. Okay, so I do have a very thin flathead. And I mean a very, very, very thin-headed flathead that I'm gonna try and get between the turbo and the, what is it called? Between the turbo and the hose, just to see if I can pry it out a little bit. I'm not gonna exert a lot of force on this. I'm just gonna use my rubber mallet to see if I can actually. No. Let me try again. No. Okay. Back to this. What you guys are hearing, that's the noise of the lift, the car sitting on the lift arms. That's what you're hearing in the background, if you are hearing that, that is. I mean, it's coming out, like I said, it's not the, has not come out fully yet. Let me use my flathead again, this one. Okay, it came out some more. You definitely do not want to mess up the surface. Like, you don't want to scratch the surface where the hose meets the turbo. That's why I'm using rubber mallet. I'm not really exerting a lot of force. Okay, I think it came out a little bit. Yes, it is almost out. Almost. All right, yes. It's coming out slowly but steadily. I'm not gonna tell you, hey, this came out. I'm not gonna show you a 30-second clip and tell you it actually came out in 30 seconds. I've been probably messing with this for the past 10 minutes at least. There we go. It's almost out, almost out. There we go. And just like that. Whew. That is in there. And look at the buildup. See that amount of buildup right there? That's why it's in there really good. The buildup, the rust. Unfortunately, this is where it leaks from. So it's not really this side, like from the previous generation, the N20, the N26, where it used to leak from the ports where the feeding line and the return line for the turbo hooks up. It's actually the side on the auxiliary water pump that actually leaks from, and it starts leaking from here, from this connector. It starts dripping down, and that's what happens. But yeah, we just removed this hose. Like I said, hopefully we don't have to remove the second one, because it did get bent a little bit on the hose level, not the port itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and install the new one, and then we're gonna put everything back together, fill it up with coolant, and go from there. All right, you guys. So we got our new hose. That's the part number for it. I got a Rain brand. The reason why I got the Rain, if you call the dealer right now and you order this part from the dealer, it's gonna look exactly the same. The only difference between the one that came out of the car and the original or the Rain one is the gasket. For some reason, the gasket they use on the ones that comes from the dealer is thinner than what actually came on the car. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start with, make sure you guys could see all of that. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and route this in there properly. I cleaned it up a little bit already, just like with a wire brush. Okay, let's make sure it actually goes in there. Okay, raise it up a little bit. There we go, perfect. It's all the way in. I just like you just saw. I just had to this has to push it in there properly. Now, as far as this side here, make sure you guys could see that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and, like I was talking earlier, make sure that clip is actually pushed in. Then only goes in one time, like one way. And the way you know it's installed properly is when you push it, you hear that click. That's how you know it was installed properly. Now I'm gonna bring you guys back to this side here, and I'm hoping that you can actually could see what I'm about to do. But basically, I'm gonna go ahead and put the bottom hose back in. Let me grab a towel and try and clean up the buildup off of it. All right, that was a lot of buildup I just cleaned up. It's still leaking there in that pan that I have underneath. Now I might actually come from this side and bring the camera closer for you guys here. I hope you guys could see all of this. Like I said, I'm just gonna have to route it and properly. It's gonna go in crooked, just like it came out. Okay. Okay, so now I might use the rubber mallet, or like if you have like a 1-pound hammer, to just get it in there. Like you see, I'm not actually like hammering it. I'm literally just tapping it a little bit, just because there is no space for me to actually get my hand in there and install it. But it looks like if you look at it from the top from here, you will see that the bottom hose is sitting flushed. You see the bottom hose sitting flushed on the upper hose, literally flushed, and that's how you know that the installation was proper. Now I'm gonna bring some brake clean. I'm gonna clean up that side a little bit before I attempt to get the screw back in place. Brake clean will dry off, not like the PB blaster. That will cause some smells later when we start the car. But now I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this screw back in there. Now be careful, be very, very careful actually with this screw. The reason why I say that is because you have to make sure that both holes on both hoses align to the hole for where the bolt goes. You do not want to force this, you want to start this with your hands. So I'm going to bring my extension, put that bolt on there as you see, and I'm going to try and come at it from this side here and start tightening this with my hand. If it does not go in, that means something is wrong, it's not aligned properly, or something like that. I think it is started. There we go. There we go. Perfect. It's tight with my hand. Excuse me. So now I'm gonna bring a ratchet, and I'm gonna use my stubby 3/8. And let's see here. You do not wanna. I mean, you saw how much force I had to put in to open it. So just with one hand, you do not want to force this. All right, perfect. So now that the hoses are back on there, the screw is back on there, I'm gonna hold on putting the screw back here until I actually put some coolant in here, and then I'm gonna put coolant and I'm gonna look at it. Gonna clean it, look at it, lift it up, fill it up with coolant to the max. If one of the hoses got bent or not installed properly, it is 100% gonna leak. So if it doesn't leak after you fill it up with coolant, then it should be okay to put everything back together in, bleed the cooling system, and then get back on the road with the vehicle. So let me go ahead and fill that up with coolant, and we'll go on from there. All right, now I went ahead and filled it up to the max on both of them. I saw that substance in there. I don't know if you guys could see it. The previous owner put some. Thought he would be a good idea to put some. What is it called? A stop leak. Yeah, stop leak in the cooling system. So I just wanted to make sure that it's not leaking before I want to go ahead and do a full flush. But yeah, it's on max right now. If it does not leak, which it hasn't in the past maybe like 10 minutes, I'm gonna try and show you exactly. Let me zoom out a little bit. I hope you guys could see this properly. I'm gonna zoom out and hope that you can actually see what I'm talking about. So if you guys could see that, the upper one is the one we just replaced. The bottom one is the one that had to come off first. And as you can see, it came off first because, let me see, here we go. It came off first because it sits on the upper one. And that's the bolt that holds it, that T30 right there. You come in from the bottom from right there. It got bent a little bit on the side, the bottom one, but it does not appear to be leaking. The actual port itself did not get damaged or anything, just the hose a little bit bent from prying, which is expected. The cutout you see on the turbo where the bolt goes, that's what I was talking about, both hoses having to sit there crooked a little bit, so the upper one tilted towards the front and the bottom one tilted towards the front for those two holes to align so you can actually put the bolt back. But it's been like 10 or 15 minutes. My actual experience with this is that, like I said, if it was not seated properly, it would leak as soon as you fill it up. Like before you even start the car, before you put anything back together, it will start leaking instantly. But I'm not seeing any leaks. It's been 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to do a coolant pressure test here a little bit on both systems. And if I don't get any leak, then we should be good to go. All right, you guys, so we went ahead and did a pressure test on the cooling system. We did not see any leaks whatsoever. So we bled the vehicle. Obviously, we put everything back together first. We bled the car, and everything seems to be fine. I hope you guys, I hope this video is helpful for anybody who's trying to do this job, whether at a shop or at home. Regardless, you don't need a lot of tools. It will just be helpful if you actually can get the car on the jack or on a lift to be able to pry that bottom hose off the turbo. But if you guys have any question, make sure you drop them in the comment section below. And like always, make sure you like and follow for more.